Today, the Taj Mahal stands as a billion-dollar, 42-acre marvel of pristine marble and flawless geometry. This global icon is a tomb, forged entirely from the weight of unimaginable grief. In 1631, the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan lost his favorite wife, Mumtaz Mahal. The sudden loss completely shattered him. He made a vow to immortalize her, deciding to dedicate his life and immense wealth to building the greatest tomb in human history directly over her burial site. The location, however, presented a fatal geographic flaw. Her grave sat right on the banks of the Yamuna River, resting on nothing but soft, shifting mud. In the early 17th century, builders lacked access to modern stabilizing materials like reinforced concrete or deep steel grids to anchor heavy masonry in waterlogged soil. The emperor's obsession demanded a monument that geography explicitly forbade, leaving his builders to engineer their way out of a geological death trap. The engineers immediately ran into a problem: water. If they tried to dig a traditional wide foundation pit, the river would instantly seep in and drown the site. Their solution was radical. They deployed 20,000 laborers to bypass the mud completely, digging massive, isolated vertical wells straight down until they hit dry, solid earth. They packed these deep shafts with heavy rocks and rubble, capping them with towering stone columns to create an immense subterranean support grid. With the ground stabilized, they could support the colossal weight of the tomb above. But stabilizing the mud was only half the battle. They also had to protect this stone structure from regional earthquakes. These architects were masters of visual manipulation. For example, as you approach the main gate, the building is designed with a forced perspective, so it actually appears to shrink in size as you get closer. They applied this same manipulation to the 4 enormous corner minarets. Instead of standing vertically straight, they are built leaning slightly outward off their central axis. From a distance, this outward tilt tricks the eye into seeing them as perfectly straight. But crucially, if a massive earthquake were to strike, gravity guarantees those towers will fall safely away from the central tomb. The architects had engineered a proactive structural failsafe, guaranteeing the tomb would survive centuries of geological violence. Looking at this technical drawing, the sheer scale of the 40-meter central dome becomes clear. Without modern internal steel framing, it had to support millions of pounds of its own crushing weight. To keep it from collapsing inward, the builders relied entirely on complex stress calculations and incredibly precise stone cutting to perfectly distribute that downward force outward. This same obsession with perfection extends down to the microscopic. To decorate the walls, artisans used a technique called pietra dura, carving out exact channels in the white marble and sitting carefully sculpted colored stones perfectly flush inside them. Securing thousands of heavy, precious jewels into vertical stone walls presented a serious chemical problem. How do you permanently bond these pieces without synthetic adhesives? Mughal scientists developed a custom organic superglue. They created a highly resilient compound by mixing shira, lemon juice, and fine marble powder. To create this monument, the builders had to succeed at every conceivable scale, from a 40-meter arch holding back millions of pounds of rock down to a single millimeter of custom glue. It took 22 brutal years of non-stop labor to finally complete the structure. The finished white marble acts as a living tribute to Mumtaz, designed to absorb the sun and shift its colors, moving from a soft morning pink to stark white and glowing golden orange at sunset. But building a flawless, eternal tribute carried a hidden cost. Paying for it completely drained the massive Mughal royal treasury. Shah Jahan enforced strict monopolies, hoarding all the region's premium Makrana marble for the site. He even diverted critical food supplies from surrounding territories just to keep his massive 20,000-man workforce fed. This extreme expenditure crippled the empire economically. The political backlash was severe enough that just 4 years after the tomb was finished, Shah Jahan's own son overthrew him to seize control of the failing state. He spent his final 8 years as a prisoner locked away in the nearby Agra fort. From there, his only connection to the masterpiece he built for his beloved wife was staring at its distant dome through a carved stone balcony. The Taj Mahal stands eternally as a masterclass in survival engineering, yet the history hiding behind its pristine marble proves that absolute perfection extracts a ruinous price.